Listen, if you're listening to this podcast and I'm talking to you, if you're listening to this podcast and you have never checked out Busy Beaver for live goods, and it's not just because I buy the category, but I'm telling you, you are truly missing out.
You are. I agree. Welcome to Beaver Banter, the podcast where we dive into all things home improvement. Brought to you by Busy Beaver Building Centers. We're here to bring you insider stories and expert tips. Join us as we chat with our amazing employees, trusted vendors, and industry professionals. Get ready to be inspired and entertained. Let's get building.
Hello, Busy Beaver neighbors. I'm Lizzie, your marketing manager.
And I'm Karen, your director of marketing.
And this is Beaver Banter. And we are so excited to be back.
Yes.
Talking with you guys and introducing our next guest. But before we do that, Karen, I have to tell you something.
What?
I have to tell you something. It's been on my mind for
I'm
the
excited.
past couple episodes.
Uh-oh.
And I just haven't. I didn't bring it up yet. I don't know why.
I don't know. Let's hear it.
Hit me, okay?
All right, I'm ready.
I don't want you to be starstruck or anything.
Uh-oh.
But my dad was on the B94 radio show.
What?
He was, get this, I know I am the descendant of this and don't, no autographs.
Okay.
My dad was the B94B.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
What? That's amazing.
Like back in the, back in the 80s.
Loved B94.
Yeah, he was the B. He was in the ice skating. He was in the mascot
What? How
suit.
did I never know that?
Ice skating. Like, he knows the Bubba guy. Is that the guy? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Fun fact.
That is a very fun fact.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Right,
I love it.
Right? And so I was kind of born to be on a radio show. So here we are,
We're here. We're doing it. I love it. You know who else was born to be on a radio show?
Please tell me.
Our guest today.
Okay, I don't want to hype this up, guys, but
Hype it up.
I'm going to.
Yes.
This guy, all right, the guy that we have sitting right next to us, the honor to sit next to us.
Yes.
Ever since we started the process of running a podcast, we both of us looked at each other and was like, we need to bring on Mark.
Yep. Mark.
And here he is.
Here is Mark.
Well, hello, everybody, and I'll be sure to give you the $20 that I owe you at the conclusion of this podcast. Thank you for such a great introduction. It's an honor to be here with you both.
Yeah, thank you for
I'm very excited
joining
for
us.
today. This is going to be awesome.
Mark, like we weren't,
Yeah.
that wasn't gassing you up, I promise.
Like,
this is the truth.
it is. Yes.
So Mark is our merchandise manager of, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
We'll just say seasonal. How about we're talking about seasonal today,
Yes.
but in some other
talk about
things
the
as
fun
well.
products. You got fun product
But
lines.
we do, and I do.
You do.
I love my product lines. I mean, I really, really do. Seasonal is obviously my favorite, followed by live goods. They're like tied. They're like they push and pull each other all year long. And then we've now incorporated solar into the whole assortment that I've had the opportunity to do this year. So a lot of fun stuff coming up in there. And then home goods, which
Yes.
I'm really, really excited about home goods too.
I'm excited.
Because, man, there is some cool stuff on the way.
I'm excited. Actually, I opened that sample that you had yesterday of that like storage like tote thing, and it's pretty awesome. You have to see it open.
I have to tell you, there's like this amazing. We have an amazing assortment that's going to come in really in regards to just storage.
Nice.
So many things, everybody thinks storage is always just blah. Like it's
Yeah.
just, oh my
You just
God,
need
there's
it.
there's another plastic tote, right? But not anymore. Coming in here, it's for spring, we're really excited. I'm super excited at the fact that we're bringing in hyacinth baskets. So, I mean, these beautiful storage baskets, handcrafted. I mean, they're absolutely amazing. I can't wait to show them to everybody. I can't wait till they come in. So, tons of stuff in that department that I think will really just make it go boom.
A little sprinkle of the Mark dust.
Yes.
The dust.
The dust.
It's
The dust.
Because seriously, anything he touches, I don't know how he does it.
I don't either.
And we're not just saying this because we love him, because Mark is the best. But I don't know how he does it. It always turns out
Amazing.
unexpected, unique, and we're lucky to have you.
Isn't that what it's supposed to be, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
if you fall in line with everybody else and all the other products that are out
You don't
there,
stand
then
out.
you just become, part of the mix.
Yeah.
And the thing is just to take a look at what new opportunities are out there, talking with our vendors about, hey man, like what can we do here? Or, how can we accentuate this business and what can we do? And we have some of the best vendors to work with, man.
do.
I
We
have
really
to
do.
tell you,
Yeah.
they really go like above and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
And-
awesome.
And it just has been like such an awesome year. This year has been amazing, and I think next year is going to blow it out of the water.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I think I called you a couple weeks ago. I was walking through the garden center with the mums, and I was just like, this is unbelievable. They were just so amazing
Yeah.
and beautiful, and I wanted them all.
That's the coolest thing too about our growers is that like we deal with a very tight knit group of smaller growers. So
Yeah.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
I get it, but I just have to say I get it, but I just have
do
to
it.
say this. So like here's the one thing that makes it so cool about a lot of the growers that we have. The one thing is that you have, in my opinion, and I might take some flack on this, but that's okay. But you have growers and you have guys that classify themselves as farmers. And the difference, in my opinion, is that like we have some growers, yes, they are growers. They have modern, beautiful facilities that just produce some of the most amazing goods that you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And then we have the guys that literally, if I ask them for an invoice, it's like handwritten on a piece of paper because they are farmers. But the thing is that those goods, they put so much love and passion into those goods. And man, when they come out, it shows. It's incredible the amount of love and attention that they put into the stuff. And the other thing it's cool too is like the facilities that we deal with that are growers. I mean, it's incredible just to see what they do and how it works and how they can time this to do that and make this do this. And it's like, what? It's like,
It is.
What?
I know.
It's
There's
just
a
like
lot
science.
I was going to say there's a lot of science behind it, which I didn't really think about before, hearing you talk and hearing those vendors talk.
Man, it's incredible though. I mean, the things that they can do, So we are truly, truly, truly blessed to have the group that we have that does it. And man, do they do an awesome job.
Yeah. And it shows
It does.
in our
It's
stores.
amazing.
Everyone can see it. If you see a plant, this is the man that gets it
This
for you.
is the man.
He's always working hard to get you the different variety, the unique stuff, and a quality at a what did I say this year? It's the quality of a garden center.
Yes.
Garden center quality at home center prices.
Oh, thank you.
That is
See?
it.
This is why he does what he
This
does.
is why he does what he does.
But I have to tell you this. Here's a fun factoid for everybody
We
if
like
you
a
didn't
fun
know
fact.
this.
Mhm.
By the time that this year is over, so again, we just are finishing up our fall season here, right? We're coming down and getting ready to slide out of fall, and everybody's looking ahead into winter. By the time that this year is over, we will have sold over 200,000 live goods to our consumers.
Wow.
What?
200,000.
Wow.
It's been an
That's
incredible year.
incredible.
It's been an absolute incredible year. So, listen, if you're listening to this podcast and I'm talking to you, if you're listening to this podcast and you have never checked out Busy Beaver for live goods, and it's not just because I buy the category, but I'm telling you, you are truly missing out.
You are. I agree.
I mean, we've done so much work within the category to just expand it, make it grow, make it pop. I'm sorry. I could go on for an hour about it, but I'll stop.
That's a big segment of today's
It
episode,
is.
so we're gonna cut it there so we can introduce Mark properly,
Yeah.
and so you guys can hear his journey is pretty.
I know.
amazing.
Yeah. Mark, tell us how your journey through Busy Beaver and.
Well, it's a little bit of a personal one, to be honest. And you guys know me. I'm not much one for sugarcoating, so I'll be more than happy to share.
Yeah.
It's a great journey. Before I came to Busy Beaver, I was working as a general manager for another retailer. And my wife at the time was 9 months pregnant. And, we had a little bit of trouble conceiving. So, it was 2 years and we were all excited that the time was finally there. My wife woke up that morning and she said to me, she goes, something doesn't seem right. She says, I haven't felt the baby move all day. She says, something doesn't seem right. So I said, well, you better, call a doctor, right? So she calls the doctor. She goes, I'm at work. She calls me and says to me, she goes, there's a problem. They want to take me over to the hospital. They want to induce me right now. They want to take the baby.
Oh, wow.
So I'm a mess, right? I
Right.
mean, I think any dad would be, right? Especially
Absolutely.
new dad.
First time
Yeah.
mom.
So I'm a mess. So the regional director for where I had worked at the time was working out of my office, and I went in and I said, "Hey, I gotta go. And I'm a mess and everything else." And I will never forget this. He literally turned and looked at me and said, "If you want a job tomorrow, you know where you'll be."
Oh my
And
gosh.
so
Oh my
again,
God.
now I'm a complete mess. My
Right.
wife, they're taking over the hospital. So, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, like, this is a real story. And I'm thinking to myself, like anybody else, hey, I'm carrying the health insurance. So I've
Right.
got to be here, right?
Wow.
So, my wife calls a friend. Thank God we have we have a small but very tight knit group of friends. And she comes over, she's with my wife. So the next day they decide that they're going to they wait to induce her, right?
Sure.
So I had that point in my mind. I said,
Wow.
this is my last day.
That's
Wow.
insane.
And I knew that. And I looked and I said, okay, how much PTO time do I have left? And I called HR and I took it. And with the intention of never going back.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so funny that night as I was sending out resumes, I literally had sent one to Busy Beaver. And the next day, my daughter was born. When my daughter was born, I got a call that day and I interviewed the next day.
Wow.
So there's actually it's really funny. There's a picture of me holding my daughter in my suit right after I got back from
Oh
interviewing.
my gosh.
So I'll never forget the day that I interviewed with Busy
Aw.
Beaver, because literally Busy Beaver changed my life and put me in a totally and completely different direction and in a different spot than where I was at.
Wow.
And so I started working for Busy Beaver. I took my PTO, obviously, to spend time with my wife and my
Right.
daughter. And when I came back as a Busy Beaver employee.
It's a good time, like a
That's amazing.
time marker is however old your daughter is how long you've been with
There
Busy
you
Beaver.
go.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about any of that. I know
Aw.
exactly. I know exactly what's going on. I got the times and
That's
dates
amazing.
down to a science.
So how old is your daughter right now?
Well, she's 16.
Oh,
My
wow.
oldest. My oldest is 16, and I've earned every bald spot on this head and every gray patch in this beard. She's not the only one. There's, my son's in there as well, who's 14 and 6'3" at 14. by the way.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
then my youngest daughter, she is like the runt of the litter. She's very, very short, and but she's 9. So I've truly been a blessed guy. So
That's amazing.
That is a crazy beginning.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
And you only tumbled more into different roles with Busy Beaver.
Yeah.
So can we get into where
Yeah.
you started to how did you get here?
yeah, so it's a pretty interesting story,
Yeah.
right? So I actually, when I first came to Busy Beaver, there wasn't any general manager's positions available in the company. So I actually came in and trained as an assistant.
Oh.
Okay.
So I
didn't
trained.
know that.
I did. So I trained and worked as an assistant. And at that time, I worked for a while, and then obviously a position became available, and then I moved up to GM and was a GM for a long time. And an opportunity was becoming available at the store support office. And and God bless the people that are up there, because my name came up in the opportunity. And
I remember that day.
I
remember it.
Aw.
and
I do.
I was kind of, it was just so humbling, because every day you come in and my intention is to do the job to the best of my ability, and,
Right.
and make sure that we move the needle every day. Right. So, when somebody takes that time to really recognize you outside of just your daily routine, it meant the world. Right.
Absolutely.
So the VP of merchandising at the time came down and talked to me. So we had a very, very nice conversation, and then that's what moved me into the merchandise manager role. Was he had talked to me about coming up, and I was very very excited for the new opportunity. So that's what brought me up to the store support office.
And it really changed the dynamic when Mark, because I remember I was the merchandising assistant
Right.
at the time, and so I was directly working with Mark, and I specifically
You poor girl.
remember. Listen, I know.
No.
I know. You'll have to give me $20.
I know. I told you I had no problem giving you the 20 from the introduction. Now I owe you 40.
That's right. But I distinctly remember just the atmosphere just changed.
Yeah.
For the better.
I agree.
It was like this goofball of a man that had these quips and was so loud and just rambunctious and it just lit the
I agree.
office.
The loud is because I'm deaf. So.
Got it. Okay, that's making more sense now.
But also, I mean, Mark, as I've come to know you, like, over the years, you are just, like, you care about people. You care about what you're doing. You want to, like, that radiates from you. And I think that's amazing.
In that. I'm a firm believer in karma. If you put good things out into the world, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I try to be that person every day. You know, so I do. I'm a firm believer in karma. I think karma has put me where I'm at right now in my life. So I'm a firm believer.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Very
Well,
cool.
before we move out of this introduction phase, I know that as a general manager, you probably have some good stories.
Oh, yeah.
my.
Can you please tell our listeners, give us your
I don't even know
most
if
appropriate, most PG but fun story you have?
I don't know if I even can. I mean,
They're
'cause
that bad, guys.
Well, no. It's just it's the ones that are the most memorable,
Yeah.
and that are the most hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't even think you can really probably speak on a show like this. Just
Yeah, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
just because like they're the ones that really stick out the most. I mean, you know, I really don't know if there's one that I can say.
That's a bummer.
That
'cause
is.
Mark
I
has
have a
some
ton.
great
Mark's
Listen,
good,
stories.
yes.
I have a
You got
ton.
the
I
stories.
have a ton of them. I mean, and and I can honestly say there has been some things that, you know, I think you tell somebody else and they would be like, "You're lying."
Yeah, there's no
And
way.
Yes,
it's like,
I know.
oh no, man. Like, you know, it's for real. Okay, here I'll give you a great one.
Please.
So when we had the store in West Mifflin, I was at that location at the time, and you know, we were working and it was busy. It was just getting ready to come out of spring, transition to summer. And I remember hearing this. And again, if you know where the store was in West Mifflin, it was like, it was not rural, right?
Right.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
surrounded by
Yeah.
businesses.
Right.
So I remember hearing boom. And I'm like, what the? You know? So, I mean, the one girl at the cash register, she's like, you know, like freaking out. Like we didn't know somebody, you know, like shot through something.
Sure.
We didn't know what was
Yeah.
going on. We're like, what? So I'm like, oh my God. So like, I'm kind of peering out the door. People were in line, like, and nobody cared. They were like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
This
So,
happens
Another
all the
day.
time.
this is another day, you know. So, and I'm like, man, like, you know, so I go peering out around the door and I'm like, oh man, and I look and there's blood on the sidewalk. And I'm like, oh man. I'm like, what happened? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like following the trail. I'm like thinking to myself, oh man, this might be a big mistake.
All right, you're following
So,
the trail of blood.
You know, I'm following this trail of blood and I'm looking and I'm like, and I go over and I look right by where the railroad ties were
Uh-huh.
and there's a deer.
Oh,
What?
what?
And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this deer like literally tried to run through the front door.
What? Oh my
and
gosh,
ran
that
through
was the
front
boom?
door. That was the boom. Was the,
Oh my
the deer hit
goodness.
the front door and died over by the railroad ties.
Oh no.
You know, and so now it's like, okay, now we have a whole nother problem on our hands
Yeah,
here
right?
because people are buying these things,
Yeah.
and you just decided to drop dead now, right in front of the, in front of these railroad ties. So I'm like, so again, thank God for forklifts.
All right.
You know?
Oh no.
So,
Mark said,
but
listen, wife, I'm coming home with dinner.
no, actually,
no.
and you know because I'm a hunter,
Yeah.
I that thought crossed my mind, but no, it was actually really funny. Glenn had it on the forklift and he's moving it back, and literally this guy comes over and he's like, "Is that fresh?"
No.
And I'm like,
Only in Western
and I'm
Pennsylvania.
sitting there and I'm
Only.
like, yeah, you know, and he's like, "You throw it in that Ford over there."
Oh
So
my
literally,
goodness.
So we had a deer crash in front of the building, bleed out on the sidewalk, die over by the railroad ties, and somebody picked it up and took it home like 10 minutes later.
Wow.
So it was like, that's probably one of the more appropriate ones. But
I
that was
never
just-
heard that
yeah.
one.
Me
Oh,
either.
no, that was great. That was
That's a
great.
good one.
PG stories can still be fun, kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was great. So I mean, that's just one of the interesting things that can happen in retail.
Yeah.
So
Unexpected.
yeah, that it was, and it was pretty wild.
Wow.
Pretty wild to say the least.
Yeah.
But it
I would
was,
imagine.
it was, again, funny. I mean, now thinking about
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but back then it was like,
Yeah, as you follow a
so we
trail of
didn't know,
blood.
like, but we didn't know what happened. Like, we didn't know if it got, like, maybe got hit by a car,
Right.
or
Sure,
something.
yeah.
Like, we didn't know. But at the end of the day, a
You
deer still tried to run through the front of the building.
Tried to run through the door.
You know?
Oh my gosh.
That's insane.
That is.
So that's one of them.
I love that.
I mean,
I know Mark is full of stories.
Yes.
Maybe we can do an exclusive another time way down the line.
Story time with Mark.
If there's
Well.
enough fans
Yes.
Oh my.
begging
If you
for
want
it.
more
I don't-
Mark, let us know.
I don't know. There is a bunch more.
So speaking of this, the seasons are changing now. We are
Hmm.
almost in the meat of winter,
Yes.
unfortunately. We would like to talk about the complexities of the seasons because people don't think about it if you're not buying, like specifically buying for it. Like
Yes.
before I got into any kind of merchandising experience,
Right.
I didn't think about it. Like it was just,
No, it was just-
they're changing the shelves to Christmas and to the, to the wintry stuff. It's probably been there for, years. They just take
They
it out of
just
the
do
bag.
it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't think about it. Like, I can't wait for people to understand the madness that happens in your world on a daily basis because you always have to be ahead.
Yeah.
And not just in seasonal, like your seasonal department, shelving.
Right.
You have all of your departments are seasonal based.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible how the whole thing works out, and what you really got to kind of look at and how you project for the fall. For immediate demand.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, because like, let's just be honest here, folks. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, every year after Christmas, I'm packing away tons of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so whether it's the fact that the box that housed my tree has busted,
Right.
or packing away, hunting clothes, or we're
Right.
switching clothes over, because that's the
Yeah.
other thing.
Oh,
Obviously,
right. As
it
switching
gets
clothes
colder.
over, so that's the other thing. So
Mark also does clothing.
I do.
At our
so-
stores.
It's true.
I do. So, but it's just those things. So, like those immediate demands are coming up, right? So, I mean, everybody tends to do that right around that November, December time frame. So, I mean, those are kind of things in the immediate. But right now, we're not even in Christmas, but we are booking Christmas for the following year. So, I mean, you're extremely
Like you're a year ahead.
pretty much. I mean, so it's like I start, if I take a look at patio and like outdoor, that usually starts for me in June.
That's
So I
crazy.
mean, so I usually start that in June to get that, complete and ready to go
For the following
to
year.
make sure for the following year, that everything lands right. So
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy with that, and then obviously you have to think about it from the live goods piece too, because the live goods side, hey man, our growers got to buy seed,
Right.
and not only do they have to buy seed, then you start talking about, hey, let's do these deco pots, or hey, let's try this, or we want to do something new, and so it takes time to source those materials, and
Right.
then obviously you gotta grow it, right? So I mean, there's a time in that, in that
Yeah.
whole thing. So it really comes down to just the whole category is really just always in motion,
Yeah.
which really is kind of what makes it fun, because I have to tell you, there is never a dull moment.
Right.
Never.
So
You'll never walk
it's
down
cool.
the hall and not hear Mark saying something.
Yeah.
Either to someone or to himself.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. You
Yes.
can usually tell, but if I'm talking to myself, it's probably, the day might be a little rough, but that's okay.
Or just
It
later
happens.
in the day.
Later in the day,
Yes,
possibly.
later in
yeah.
the day.
So, but it is, and and then you start talking about the complexities of what that looks like, right? So, how do we know when we're taking a look, since we're a year in advance? Like, what are we looking at to make sure
Like the trends.
that it's going to hit, right? So obviously we take a look at the successes, right? So like, what worked?
Right.
Like there are items that for us that are just knockouts, that just every year they just produce. But let me say this, when we find an item, or when I find an item that we sell consistently, my thing is I'm on the consumer side, because the thing is that, anytime that you can really provide your customers with a value, it really resonates with them, right? So if I'm finding like item X, we're killing it, like, 3 years straight, we're killing it. Well, then I'm finding out year after year, hey, how can I get a better cost? How can I go and pass this along to the consumer? How can I make the shopping experience better?
Yeah.
So Those are obviously some of the things we look at into how we can expand, to help the customer and make things better for them. The other half of it is too, is that, if you guys know, you look at the corner of my desk and there's magazine after magazine after magazine,
That's right.
and a lot of times I'll take them home, and use them for, reading material, if you will. I use them for reading material. And, but a lot of times that's where you'll find like trending. And it's really weird too, because trending, if you really take a look at it, it's so wild. It usually typically starts on the West Coast and moves its way to the East Coast.
Interesting.
True.
So like when
That
you
makes
take
sense.
it
does.
is. So like when you take a look, like you start to look at trends out west, right? So you're looking at what's moving out west. Granted, that's not always a key indicator. Like it's not saying, hey, this is going to do great in the Northeast.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's what you look at to kind of just say, hey man, if they're having success with this,
Right.
Something we should be looking
It's
at.
common, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you're looking at those
The
types
cow.
of things.
Mark loves the cow. Next year we're gonna have next year, right?
What are they called
I
again?
have Highland cows.
Highland cows?
Highland cows.
Okay.
I
It's
have.
the cute cows with the fuzzy
Yeah.
horns.
I'm still like everybody tells me all the time. It's all I hear about is like these. Like I was walking through another retailer with my wife, and my jaw that was like and my wife's like, she's looking at this and she's like, that's pretty cool, and I'm like, it's a picture of a Highland cow.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
She
and-
even likes the cows.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, where we live, we can never have a Highland cow. So it's, but it's just like, it's so crazy, right? But people dig it. Like, they dig the Highland cows. And then
They're
it's...
cute.
They are really cute.
They are,
People like cute things that get your attention.
Right.
If I had bangs, I would look like one. So, I mean, it's, kind of one of them deals. But, I mean, but it's just, but it's kind of funny, like I said, the whole trending piece, looking at how that whole thing comes to play, comes into play, and then obviously it's just a matter of taking a look at similar items and seeing how we can put a new twist on it,
Right.
Yeah.
and things like that. So it's a lot of fun.
I'm glad you explained that trending piece, because I actually was beginning to think that you were like psychic or something, because you just like hit it out of the park. I know not every
I mean, I think he's still a little psychic, but
Yeah.
Lizzie, if I was psychic, every one of us would be rich.
Thank God.
We would all be rich because I'd have the numbers to the lottery.
right?
So we would all be rich.
That's awesome. I mean, listen, I love that you explained that, because it makes total sense, and I would be so stressed out to be in your spot
Yes.
with thinking ahead,
Right.
that far ahead.
I know.
No, I mean it's just the way that it has to be, right? And the other thing too about being far enough ahead is that gives you time to really kind of take a look, talk to numerous people, and and then you can obviously go
Yes.
back, the negotiations start. Like I said again, it's to me the most important thing is providing that value to our customer.
Yes.
Yeah.
We provide that value to the customer, man, then hey, you know what? Then you're my friend for life, right? So and that's kind of like and that's what we want. We want, customers that will come into us and we provide that value. We provide that service. We provide the customer service. We it just makes the experience.
Yeah.
You know.
And a lot of, when our customers come in, your products are what they're seeing first.
Oh,
They're,
yeah.
They're fun, they're exciting, whether it's a plant or a piece of decor to put in your yard or in your home. It really is like, I walk by the sets and I'm just always like, it makes you happy. It's fun
It
stuff.
really does.
And yeah, shame on you if you're not happy when you look at it. I mean, because
Exactly.
it means so much cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know, listen, I got it. I've got 3 kids. I know a lot of people look at Christmas and are like, oh my God. Because, I
Not
get
again.
it. But it is, though. Like, you walk into the stores and you get excited. You see the Christmas trees,
Yeah.
which, again, this year was, a new set for us, which looks great. And, the decor this year is phenomenal. And it just, you look at it and how can you just not smile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
it's
an
just-
opportunity to make that experience for your family,
Oh, for sure.
Take it home, and yeah, there's a lot of commercialization and stuff, but still
Sure.
just having the lights and the trees and the fun stuff for those 3 kids of yours, I'm sure makes it all worth it.
And not only that, but I got to tell you, our decor makes great gifts, right?
It
So, I
does.
mean, there's a lot of great gifting
Yeah.
items. And the live goods that come in for the winter, like, you guys just seen the new ones
I
that are coming.
We got to
so,
sneak
like,
peek. It's exciting.
so there's like all those are great. They're already gift baskets. You grab them and go. They're ready. They even
Make
got
it
the
easy
tag.
for people.
Even got the tag on them. It just says to from. Like it's
Right.
It's like, hey, check.
Check.
Done.
Well,
Easy.
speaking of gifting, and this is a little bit ahead, but you brought in roses this year for Valentine's Day, which were gorgeous and fun and made customers' lives easier. We, had the opportunity. They were able to pre-order them, come pick them up, and they got a free card, and they had a beautiful, bundle of roses.
And I got to tell you, and that's perfect. The marketing department made that a whole thing happen.
Yes.
So that was a great idea.
Teamwork.
But the roses did phenomenal for us, and we again will do that again this year. At even a better retail to the consumer this year than last year. So we're excited about that with an extended selection this year. So again, it's a lot of fun. Like
speaking on the marketing part of your department,
I have to drive you crazy.
It's really hard to want to promote anything else other than your
I know, yeah.
Seriously, they're just so pretty. People want to see it. It's just
listen. People get excited when they see 2x4s.
I mean,
I don't know
sure.
if it's the same excitement.
It's definitely a little more of a challenge. You make it easy because
you mean drywall doesn't tickle your fancy? I mean, it's
just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about your live. I mean, we talked so much about live good, but let's hit on it again. But this year, I know we had a really high initiative to be the destination for live goods all year round.
Yep.
And I know in these weird months of like November is a little weird, January is a little weird. How are you going to place the live goods in those kind of like off months that's not a holiday? Like Halloween, you have mums. Christmas, you have poinsettias. How do you strategically place those?
So right now, again, it's another exciting time, right? Because the cool thing about usually, so like you've gotten a live good selection that typically will run through October, November, and then December, right? So it's really those months. It's like it's January, February, and March, depending if what the weather looks like.
Yeah.
But so this year it's tropical, baby.
Oh,
It's
tropical.
It's tropical,
like
baby.
indoor.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing indoor assortment that we're going to have basically from 3 different vendors this year that we're going to really expand the indoor. And these things, I got to tell you, like there's so many. Like there's one called the Purple Heart, which is really cool because it's a like basically like a fern looking plant that's black with purple leaves. So it's really
what?
Sick. So I mean, like
I'm excited.
things like that. And we have them in deco pots. We have air plants that we're going to be bringing in this year. We have water plants. So it's basically you literally on these water plants are going to be amazing. So they come in like a special glass vase, and you literally water them once every 30 days.
What? That's my.
Now, I was just gonna say you're talking right to me.
That's and that's it. And they hang and they grow. So those things are coming here. We'll have them in place in January. So I mean,
that's
certainly
exciting.
make sure that you stop by and check it out because it'll be really, really cool.
I'm excited. I didn't know that was coming.
This is why you do what you do because like I didn't even think about that. I never even thought about
me either.
Air plants or anytime.
Right.
Indoor plants, I don't love them, but people love them. And that's a great idea, like to put it in the intermedium, when there's not a lot of blooms. And, So
and another thing
awesome.
too that people you got to think about is things like that we're, excited again for Christmas is like, paper whites. One thing that people don't know about paper whites is they're extremely fragrant, right?
I don't even know what that is.
It's well.
Yeah, that was one of the things you gave us a picture of, and I didn't get a chance to ask you. So
so paper whites. I mean, it's another one. It's a great holiday scent. People like it as they grow. They're extremely fragrant. So I mean, another great thing for the holidays too. And then not to mention that we have Elwood spruce trees, those little baby spruce trees.
Yes!
Remember seeing the Elwood
those
spruces?
are cute.
So cute.
So those are, super cool. And so we'll have those. And then obviously we'll have the staples. We'll have the poinsettias.
The wreaths.
You know, we'll have the poinsettias, we'll have the wreaths, and then we also have garland. We have live garland.
That's live.
That
Yeah.
garland's live,
Isn't that
15
cool?
feet.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
15 feet, 15 feet live garland. We'll have, obviously, we're gonna do some patio pots, you know, that are gonna have greens in them, and obviously they'll be all, you know, tricked out for Christmas. They'll have little Christmas
Right.
balls and
Oh
all
my
kinds of stuff
God.
on
Yeah,
them,
that's
so-
fun. And
Yeah.
those things, I mean, you know, most likely you're gonna buy yourself the patio pot, but there's so many parties and dinners and things going on. Like those little
Yeah.
trees and poinsettias are really cool, like hostess gifts you could bring and bring some life into
Oh, for sure.
the inside.
And then the other cool thing is that, you know, we started, I mean, you guys know we started the EDLP program, and for people that don't know, it's everyday low pricing, right? So we found these items that we decided we were going to be the most aggressive on
Yeah.
every day. And we're going to have that again this year in holiday season with the Christmas cactuses.
Yes, I
So-
We did
saw
one with the
that.
pumpkins
Yeah,
this
so
year.
the pumpkins,
Yes.
same deal.
Yeah, people love that.
And the pumpkins
It
this
was
year
a
were
hit.
awesome.
Yes, they
you
were
know?
awesome.
And I have to tell you, like, I was looking at some of the data on, like, the warty pumpkins. The warty pumpkins
I'm
were, like,
so
insane.
shocked.
People loved the Warties. I don't think Lizzie was the biggest fan, but
Ugh.
people loved the Warties.
I literally thought if I touched it, I would get it.
Oh no.
That's literally how they made me feel.
Well, it just needs a shot of penicillin. It'll look like
Right,
the other
you'll be
ones,
good,
you know,
you'll be
so
good.
it's fine. But no, they just the warties this year sold like crazy. And then how about we did the pie pumpkins this year, right? The
Yes.
99-cent Saturday.
Oh my god.
They were so fun.
So much fun.
And then, you know, and then parents obviously brought their kids out for the pumpkin painting, and it
Yes.
was just like,
If you guys missed that,
Oh.
I'm so sorry because it was so much fun.
It was so fun.
And it was a great value. If
Yes.
you're just like you don't I know we say pie pumpkins. You don't have to cook with
Right.
them. They're literal small tiny baby pumpkins that you can decorate with. That's
Right.
what I did.
the
Yeah.
baby pumpkin.
Absolutely.
Baby pumpkin.
Baby pumpkin.
A baby pumpkin.
Babykin.
You know, listen, come on, everybody's like used to the baby shark. Do-do.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
They were
So it's
baby
Pumpkin.
do-do-do, baby pumpkin. And it just,
And then you've got
Kill it.
Warty pumpkin.
Oh god. No.
They're coming to get Lizzie.
We're discontinuing that. next
Yeah.
year.
We are not. If you'd see the numbers,
We are
absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, but it's just like that stuff. Like it was just, you know, we expanded the pumpkins this year, you know, so we went to have that pumpkin patch experience at, you know, your, you know, neighborhood store. And
Yeah.
we did that. I mean,
yeah.
and it worked out great. So, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, man, I'm having a blast. It's been-
Yes.
Your job must be. It must listen, any job is a job. But your job must be really fun.
I know.
It is fun. I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. You get to see so much cool stuff. Like it, you know, it's crazy. Like you look at this and then like you look at something and you're like, for real. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, but then like,
But then you're like, for
You're
real.
like,
Mm.
you know, then you start thinking of it, it's like, I've seen that before. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, maybe, you know, so it's pretty cool.
Right?
Pretty cool.
I like it.
I'm not gonna lie, like
Uh-oh.
This sounds good.
I
I'm not
know.
gonna lie.
Should I
Mark.
climb under the desk and
Yeah,
hide?
right?
Why? When someone would say, "This is our seasonal buyer that buys our nice plants and our nice patio sets and the nice decor,"
Right?
you are not what I would
Is
expect
this not what
to
you
see.
expected?
So if you're listening in audio, please, I really highly suggest seeing a video so you can see
Yes.
what Mark looks like. This is the man behind everything.
He's
Beautiful.
amazing.
No, I have to tell you, like, it's so, I think that's why I love the category so much.
Right.
Because, you know, I'm a hunting, fishing, truck driving kind of guy.
Right.
And, you know, and it's like, so you look at me and like, yeah, somebody would say, hey, Mark, what's your favorite color? I'm like, camo.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it's like, you know, it's just one of them things, but it's like, I think that's what kind of like appeals to me to the whole thing is
Right.
it's like, it's the other, everybody has that other side,
Yeah,
right?
the
So
other
it's
side,
like, you know, it's the
yes.
other side kind of
You
coming
be
out.
that
so
for 8 hours,
that's
then you
right.
go home,
And then I go home
and you're the
and then,
rugged man.
oh, and then the kids give me a run for my money until they
Right,
go to bed. So
and then you come back.
that's right. So, but it is, you know, and I tell people all the time, you know, Shrek is real. Just take a look.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Now
Shrek
you're
is
the best.
real. Take a look. Take a look.
You are the
So,
best.
oh, it's awesome. Though.
Yes.
But I
So
love
Mark,
it.
do you mind if we end the podcast because I know we're going a little bit off train, but that was fine
That's
because
fine.
we love talking to you and we can talk to you about anything. But we do want to end the podcast with rapid fire.
Yes. Uh-oh.
But
Rapid
Don't
fire.
knock yourself out.
do you mind?
No.
Okay.
I just can't
Okay.
promise the answers that you're going to, what the type of
That's
answers you're going to get.
All right. First rapid fire question. What is your favorite season personally and professionally?
Ooh. Personally, summer.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a bigger guy, I love the heat. Man, I love the heat. Most big guys, we hate that. We look forward to winter, but nah, I love the heat. So summer, professionally, it's got to be spring.
Gotta be
Spring's
spring.
Spring's the
Oh,
Super Bowl.
spring is so much
Spring
fun.
is
I
so
love
much
spring.
fun.
Yeah, spring
He
is
has
like
a
the
whole
Super Bowl.
sleeve. It's not surprising that he. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
I can't.
Go
Now
ahead.
this shirt's a little tight here,
Uh-oh.
but no, it's I
See,
do.
you can see his personal favorite is summer.
Beautiful.
So that's not surprising, but
in the
spring.
in the Caribbean,
yes.
In the
Yes.
Caribbean.
for sure.
All right, so second question.
Uh-oh.
What is one product you believe every homeowner should own regardless of the season?
A blower.
A blower. Why is that?
blower.
That was very rapid fire.
And
That
you're
was
gonna-
very rapid.
And you're gonna laugh at me.
No, let's
but
hear
a
it.
blower, I swear to God. So not only do people use it right for just their lawns every year,
Right.
Correct.
You ever dry off a wash car with a blower?
Oh, no, but I bet that's fun.
How about remove snow? I mean, I'm
Oh,
not talking. I'm not
my-
talking a foot,
But
right?
when
Like,
you
we're
got
not-
that dusting,
Yeah, but you got that
need
dusting,
to
or even up to
clear.
like an inch or 2 inches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
you
definitely
get-
blow
you got
2
100
inches
Yeah.
off
I
your
got
car.
a 190 mile an hour blower. You can get it off there.
Okay.
So I'm telling. A
I like
blower.
this. A blower.
A blower. A blower. A
Mind
blower.
blown.
I mean,
Whoa.
That
I mean,
was
just-
genius.
That was genius.
no. I'm telling you, go
Wow.
wash your. I'm telling you, go wash your car.
I'm going
and then
to.
just go and
Yes.
use a blower.
I love it. All right. So what is your go-to cold weather comfort food?
Ooh.
Stumped.
Well, no, because mine probably wouldn't be a food. It would probably be a beverage.
Okay.
Oh,
We can go
okay.
beverage. We're having fun here.
Well, you know what my favorite beverage is,
We
so
know
I mean,
it. We
it's,
know.
you guys know.
The
but
people.
but if I had to say a food, oh God,
Really, soup?
soup's too no. I wasn't
I wasn't expecting soup to be the answer.
No, you know what I'm thinking. You know what? Yeah, I know where I'm going with this.
All right.
I would have to say like homemade. Like you can't. I'm not talking out the box, but like homemade mac and cheese.
Oh yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm.
I'd probably agree with that.
Homemade mac and cheese.
Yes.
Oh my God, you eat it and you just want.
Yeah.
I mean,
My
it's
grandma
nice.
used to make one.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. That would be a great cold weather comfort food.
Take out down, you're just out. Just
Done.
My grandma used to make it with tomato sauce.
Ooh.
And I know it was my dad's favorite.
Interesting.
And I liked it, but like my dad was just obsessed with it.
Oh my
But it was mac
gosh.
and cheese, but it was made with tomatoes. I don't
Huh.
know. It was really weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to try it.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
He is
I
intrigued.
don't
You
know.
can see it on his face.
Intrigued.
All right, Lizzie, you got one more question for him?
Yes. Can you give us and the listeners any kind of sneak peek for what live goods looks like next year?
Oh man, so we gotta like give it away or no? I'm just teasing.
Just a
There's-
little sprinkle.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff, but I mean some of the things is again we're gonna extend. We're gonna add new varieties into our everyday low price program, which is great.
Yes.
The other thing that we got into this year that I hear you people when you talk, I listen. So the other thing is people were like, "Yo, man, I'm tired of having these deer eat our plants." So we actually this year are bringing in. I won't say completely deer resistant because there's no such thing.
Sure.
But we are bringing in plants that are highly unlikely that deer will eat, and we're actually gonna put together a program of these plants that are basically I call them deer resistant, but they're not. Again, please don't hold me to it. I'll be blowing up my phone. But I've worked with some of the growers and some research, and like there's a list of about 20 items that deer do not like.
That's awesome.
So,
Yo, man, that's
so we'll have
awesome.
that, which is great. And then summer, we're gonna have an amazing assortment of tropicals. Like I can guarantee you ain't seen anywhere else.
Oh, I'm
So,
excited.
that. And then we're bringing, obviously the return of the $12 flats. So I
Nice.
mean, so the
It is
the,
returning.
so the $12 flats will come back. So there's a lot of cool stuff. The other thing too is just like, and I'm sorry, I just kind of go off script, but it's just, so we're going to have a bunch of different varieties this year for like Easter. Because one thing
Oh,
that
that's
we've really
fun.
seen is that like Easter, like people are bailing out of the Easter lilies, man. Like
Huh.
they're not into it anymore. Like I
Mhm.
think it's just so over commercialized that people just like
Yeah.
bail out of it, So, but like we're doing Gerbers. Like last year we did Gerber
Yeah,
daisies.
those were really
Yes,
pretty.
they were
amazing.
beautiful.
Sold right out. Primroses, things like beautiful primrose, and a whole bunch of others. I don't want to give it all away here, but it's going to be an amazing program. And I have to tell you, we're doing these, and I got to give a plug because thank you, Jerry, because we will be doing this year. One of my favorite plants that we have is called an LA Dream in hydrangea.
Okay.
And so if you look at a conventional hydrangea, it only blooms in one color. Typically, it'll bloom in white, or it'll bloom in like an ivory or red or a blue or like a violet.
Yeah.
This plant here blooms in all three colors.
Oh, wow.
It's a hydrangea that blooms in all three colors. And the thing is, this year we're putting, and these are nice. I mean, like they're nice sized plants, but we're doing them in deco pots this year that you can put out on your deck or your patio at the craziest price I guarantee you'll ever see.
I love those deco pots. I
Yes.
don't even have to
They're
plant
beautiful.
it. Don't have to get my hands dirty.
And that's the other thing. We're expanding. We want that. We're expanding that program. So we're getting into more patio pots, bigger planters. I mean, I hear you, bigger planters.
Yes, he's listening.
Bigger planters. Bonnie, the Bonnie program will be coming back this year, which was a
good.
huge success.
Yes.
I don't even know where to stop. I mean, it's
I
just
know.
there's so much. But
that was
anyway.
a loaded question. So
No,
it's
it was a good
our
one, though.
fault. Well, if
I have to add one more.
Go ahead.
The $5.99 hanging basket.
Yes.
yes,
The best.
Go ahead. Never mind. Never mind.
I know where you were going with that, but I
never
won't do
mind.
it.
No, never mind. Okay, that was great. We love
Yes.
Mark. But yeah, seriously, Mark, thank you so much for coming
thank you
on.
both.
Thank
This
you.
was
This
great.
was so
and
fun.
talking with us. We're definitely gonna have you back.
Yeah.
Like multiple times. So expect those invites.
Again, you poor girls.
It was great, and I know that everyone appreciates what you bring to Busy Beaver, whether they know it or not. Now
Yes.
you know it.
Now you know it.
And I appreciate all the Busy Beaver has done for me, and I appreciate everything that we can bring to our customers. So
Yes.
look forward to another great year.
Yay!
Awesome. Well, you can shop 24/7 at busybeaver.com or stop into any of our stores to see the awesome selection of products that Mark brings to us, as well as all of our other great, amazing deals.
Yes. So thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.